What is a good profit margin for a small business? We're going to hit those. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so I started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I have helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds across the world. When it comes to profit margins, there is a wide range, and it's really going to be industry specific. So when you think about it, there's two types of profit margins. There's your gross profit and your net profit. Your gross profit consists of when it costs this much for my product or service, and this is how much it costs to produce and offer my product or service. What's left? Well, that's the gross margin. Then you take into what are the additional expenses. Maybe it's insurance, maybe it's your rent, maybe it's maintenance, fees, leases, who knows what it is. Operating taxes, things like that. Whatever's left, it could be labor, and then whatever's left over here, little bitty down at the bottom, that is what is our net profit. So traditionally, most people are looking at net profit, but it can matter both. You can either have a top line problem or a bottom line problem. The range for for net profit traditionally ranges anywhere from what I've seen from minus to 40 or up to almost 70%. The reality though is what is a good profit margin really depends on the business. So an example I used in a previous video is if, for example, you run a gas station and you sell gas, your profit margin is going to be very, 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 very small, but you have high volume and you have some other reasons why it works out for you because of the way that you hold the gas and how long do you get to hold it before you actually have to pay for it, and there's things called float and other pieces. If you're in a traditional small business, usually 4% is going to be really, really tight. 35% could be really strong, but you start getting much above that, and you're actually going to start attracting a lot more competition. You get into the high margins, people are like, oh, I want to make something that has an 80% net profit margin. Yeah, I can appreciate that, and I've been in businesses where you can. But the reality is when you do that, you're going to attract a lot of competition. I've seen some small businesses in certain construction spaces that had margins like that, and they ended up having private equity companies come in and just buy up everything in the market and crush them. So there's a rule of thumb that says if it's much more than 35%, you're probably going to start attracting a lot of competition. So this is where I think for a lot of businesses, and it really, again, it depends. 10 to 12% should be a minimum. 20% is usually a fairly healthy margin. Now, some companies, like I say, I've seen $100 million companies at 0.5%, and that would scare the bejesus out of me. I've seen other companies that were at, 2 million that were making 80%. They were doing triple the profit the $100 million company was. So figuring out what fits for you it's going to fall on your skill set and how you look at that. Now, question is for the industry, what is norms? How do you find that out? So in our book, Aspiring Solopreneur, and you're welcome to go to our website, and we have courses online there. But we specifically talk about how you would reach out to other people who normally might be competitors, but others in the industry that can help you to define, hey, here's some opportunities, or like, hey, maybe here, look at this has a better margin. But actually, don't be afraid of saying, hey, help me understand what's the traditional margin for this business? What are people seeing? And I would ask quite a few people. Now, we also talk about in the book how you build a team of advisors, but a really quality small business accountant is going to help you define that for your industry as well. And that's going to be somebody who you want on your team of advisors anyway. So ideally, you found some value in this, because when it comes to figuring out, what's a good profit margin for a small business, it ranges. But if you can go and talk to the right people, you can really narrow that down for your industry. So again, if you have questions, you're welcome to reach out at aspiringsolopreneur.com. Hopefully you found some value. Subscribe, check out some of the other videos. Appreciate you being here. Keep smiling.